Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, members of, let me welcome all of you to this first consultative committee of the All Progressive Congress, our members of the National Assembly and the Executive. Our party commands a clear majority in the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Vice President, the distinguished Senate President, the Right Honorable Speaker, and I all belong to APC, and the working relationships between the executive and the legislative have been excellent so far. Our joint responsibility is to keep things that way and see where we can improve our communication and coordination. But we must admit to ourselves that our party has been too often embroiled in bitter and on occasions totally unnecessary squabbles, costing us seats in legislative and gubernatorial elections. These never should have happened. We are here to make sure such occurrences do not happen again. We must now ensure regular consultations between the party and the governments. I am a firm believer in the doctrine of the separation of powers, which is fundamental to our constitutional democracy. But our practice should be a harmonious check and balances devoid of bitterness and petty rivalry. As one government, we must further align ourselves and be alive to our electoral promises. We need to nurture our party, which is the platform that will take us and our country forward. Your Excellencies, distinguished Senate President, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am placing great faith in this consultative committee to help improve our governance and achievements to the people of Nigeria. I expect regular feedback on your activities, and I am, as always, ready to lead and find solutions. With these remarks, I formally inaugurate the Consultative Committee. Your success will directly enhance the success of this administration and greatly improve the conditions of our people. I thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Today, another solid foundation is being laid by this administration of President Muhammadu Buhari for the advancement of democracy and governance in our nation, Nigeria. As we are all aware, the emergence of candidates for elective offices, and indeed any government in a democratic setting, is based on the platform provided by the political parties and the manifesto presented to the electorate. At the level of governance, the synergy among the various arms of government, built on mutual respect and recognition of the principles of the doctrine of separation of powers, goes a very long way to engender development in the nation. When this administration was overwhelmingly returned to power by Nigerians at the presidential, gubernatorial, and legislative elections, our great party the All Progressive Congress, and the government of President Muhammadu Buhari flagged 9 priority areas for focus and delivery. These 9 areas were built on the 3 core promises of security, economy, and anti-corruption. The delivery on these promises cannot be accomplished without regular consultation among the key stakeholders of this administration, the party, the legislature, and the executive. To further strengthen the relationship between the executive and the legislature, this administration recently issued specific directives to its appointees to see the legislature as partners, remain well-guided, and maintain very high level of ethos and dignity in their transactions. By early 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic had altered the workings of all non-global systems, impacted on the economies and the performance of governments all over the world. However, this government remained focused and determined to deliver on its promises. This period of the pandemic, Mr. President, has witnessed the most significant synergy between the executive and the legislature in the fight against the coronavirus, and that is a strong signal of hope for our nation. The tripartite consultative committee that is about to be inaugurated today will build a greater collaboration to deliver on the promises, position our party, which has been rejuvenated, enhance legislative processes, and enable government perform better. With all this in place, our messaging to Nigerians will be unified and with one voice. Your Excellencies, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite Mr. President to please inaugurate the tripartite consultative committee of the Executive, Legislature, and the All Progressive Congress. I thank you for listening to us.
Much. The Right Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, the Deputy Speaker, the Chairman, the distinguished leaders of the National Assembly present, the Chairman of the Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress, the Secretary to Government of the Federation, distinguished gentlemen of the press. Today marks a very historic day for us as an administration. The essence of this consultative forum is for governance to be enhanced. The legislature, the executive arm of government, and of course the party in power have seen the need to bring everybody on board so that we are able to consult widely before major issues are tabled before the citizens of this country. And essentially, what we intend to achieve is to improve the quality of governance and service delivery to Nigerians. We have promised Nigerians, and Nigerians voted for the APC at almost all the levels. So it is incumbent upon us as an administration and as a party to ensure that we meet the expectations and aspirations of Nigerians. We believe, just like the President expressed, we believe that the Constitution rightfully provides for separation of powers, and we believe in that. The legislature will always hold its own territory to ensure that we oversight and we check possible excesses of the executive arm of government. But we also believe that the separation of powers also means that there should be cooperation, there should be consultation, coordination, and partnership for the benefit of the people of this country. This is not in any way to compromise the different functions that we are cut and scheduled to discharge. The party is here, and of course you will hear from the party. This is our platform. The party has a sense, a direction, a manifesto, programs and projects. And we elected on both sides of the government, the executive and the legislature, would always ensure that we stick to what the party provides for us to do. But I want to assure Nigerians that this is not in any way to compromise the independence of the legislature. If anything, is to strengthen the legislature, because we will first-hand advise if there is any bill that will be coming from the executive arm of government. What we will do is to make sure that we receive bills that will meet the expectations of Nigerians. We will always have different perspectives because we are legislators by design and by orientation. And the executive may sometimes think out something, a bill, that in its judgment will be good enough to enhance governance. But when we have our perspectives and we advise, I think it will enrich this. And when it comes to the National Assembly is not an APC National Assembly. The National Assembly has the representation of different political parties. We have so far enjoyed the support and cooperation and partnership of our colleagues from other political parties, particularly the PDP, and we commend them for that. We are grateful for that. We did that for them before, and we expect that with this, the cooperation and the partnership in the National Assembly between the different political parties will continue, because we are going to serve Nigerians regardless of their political persuasions. Thank you very much.
Let me just cut through the chase and address the question as put forward by the gentleman who asked the question. First of all, let me tell you what we're doing right here. Right, what we're doing here is to line up our ducks in a row. It's what any responsible government will do. It happens everywhere in the world and in the most advanced democracies. You cannot be in government and not speak with one voice. That's discordant tunes. And whether it has taken 5 years, whether it's taken 10 years, there's been a lot of issues. Moving forward, there will be wrinkles in a democracy. There will be a tug of war here and there, especially when you have opposition and you have within a constitutional democracy. And so we have to ensure that as a party, we speak with one voice without sacrificing, like the Senate President said, our constitutional responsibilities and the principles of checks and balances and separation of powers. They can go side by side and still operate in a harmonious relationship. It does not mean that because you have separation of powers and checks and balances, therefore there must always be discordant tunes. No, those two can go hand in hand. One does not have to. You don't have to sacrifice one on the altar of the other. So let me give you a very good example. We all look up to the United States as our shining light in democratic governance. Today, the Senate in the United States is controlled by Republicans, who are also the ones in the executive, right? Much as they may disagree, and which they will, but hardly will you find them, the Senate and the executive, speaking in discordant tunes. In terms of policy, they're on one page. Now, it may be a different case in the House of Representatives where you have the opposition. And that's how democracy works, unless we want to kid ourselves. So it does not mean that there's no separation of powers between the Senate and the executive in the United States. There is separation of powers and there is checks and balances. But at the same time, as best as possible, they speak with one voice. And there are many more examples that I can give. For us, we have to be clear that moving forward, as elections approach, there's going to be a concerted effort for every party to want to position itself. What this is about is that we don't allow 2020, the approach of 2023 to affect governance. And that's what a responsible government will do. And how do you not allow 2023 to affect your policies? By bringing your men together. That's what a responsible party will do, and that's exactly what Mr. President has done today, and it happens all over the world. I believe this is a move in the right direction, and you are not exempted as journalists. When I say lining up the ducks in a row, you're part of it. You need to be lined. You're part of a constitutional democracy, and the role that you're going to play as well will determine a lot whether we will have a smooth sailing. We sail smoothly towards 2023 or not. So for me, it's a welcome development. When you talk about what's happening in the House of Reps or the Senate or National Assembly in terms of, I don't know what you mean by controversial. I actually don't know what that means. There will be issues. Even when we live today, issues will come up. Otherwise, you're not. If there's no such thing, then you're not in a democracy. You're not. You're in an autocracy. But we are in a democracy. Things will come up. But it's how you handle those things and how you deal with them that will determine whether you're actually a government in power or not. And so far, the APC has done very well. Yes, there are areas where we need to harmonize a little bit better. There's no gainsay about that, and we're not ashamed to say it, and there's no big deal about it. And we will. We will, moving forward. The executive and the legislature have done very well together. They've worked and they've delivered, whether some people like it or not, they've delivered dividends of democracy in various ways. And it is that struggle for delivery of democracy that makes us sometimes not even speak in one voice. I know the 774,000 jobs is what you guys will talk about. You talk about NDDC, you talk about all of this. That tells you that the party is actually working. But can it work better with better synergy and symbiosis between the two arms? Yes. But already it's working. So I hope I've answered your question.
Very happy with this development, with this tripartite arrangement. It's something that we've been looking for because the party is in control of both chambers of the Senate and the House of Representatives. And the party, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, is determined to deliver the dividends and to work on our manifesto. And to do that, we need a arrangement like this to synergize and to work together so that we work on our promises without having issues. Because when the two arms of government, the executive and the legislatures, are working together alongside with the party, so we are sure that our manifestos will work accordingly and our promises will be delivered, because the party is the vehicle that was used to deliver both the executive and the legislature as it is, because the president of the Senate is an APC member and also the speaker. So we want the president, the leader of the party, and two presiding officers working together alongside with the party. So this is a very positive development for APC in Nigeria.